All right, YouTube, it is Mr. Mean coming at you this fine Monday evening. I hope everyone is doing well. I'm recording this for later. Uh, I wanted to get a video out, and I've been doing a couple of different videos on superhero games, trying to find one that I want to run on startplayinggames.com as a bi weekly game, probably $15 per session. That seems to be the sweet spot. I see people charging a little more, a little less, but I think 15 will be good. And so I've been looking for a game, and I think it's going to be Outgunned Superheroes. I really like the setting. I like the system, and I'm just waiting for the physical rewards, which I think will be here early 2026. I'm the first quarter, I think. So maybe so. So I've got some time. I have the PDFs. As they update them, I'll reread and adjust and go on. But today, I kind of had posted this a few weeks ago. Sigil Entertainment ran a Kickstarter, and it did well. But then, and I don't know the story behind it, so please post it in the notes if you know, or in the comments below. Something happened. I don't know if somebody died or somebody got sick or they ran into financial trouble. I don't know what the problems are around it, but evidently they couldn't fulfill, or they ran into some sort of problems, and so Pinnacle, I believe, picked it up. Pinnacle Games, the makers of Deadlands and Savage Worlds and all of that, picked it up and fulfilled, and it is available on their website right now. If you go to pinnaclegames.com, or is it Pinnacle? Let me see here. What is it? It is peginc.com, and then you can just do a search for Sigil Entertainment or Super's 5E. Now, everyone who follows my channel knows I'm not a big 5th edition fan. In fact, I'm probably one of its least fans. It's not to say it's a bad game. I think it's a fun game. I've played 5th edition many times. I've had a lot of fun with it, but I don't like jamming it. I think it's broken. The math doesn't work, especially between 7th and 12th level. I think the math kind of breaks down depending on your class. Some classes are fine all the way up until like 13th or 14th, and then they start the math just doesn't work. I will say, if you want a fantasy game where the math works, I'll say Pathfinder. Pathfinder is solid. The math is the same at level 1 as it is at level 20. It just works. If you don't mind a little bit of bookkeeping and some heavy mechanics, it's a good game, and it's still one of my favorite fantasy games, right up there with Warhammer. But today's video du jour is I want to talk about uh, super heroic role playing. I've talked about it already, and I kind of liked what I saw. But I'm going to go back and retract that statement. I do not like what I see. Um, I spent, how many pages is this? This is 286 pages. So roughly 148 pieces of my own personal paper and toner that I printed. I only printed the cover in color, and then I had it laminated, which I have a laminator, so I laminated it, and I printed everything else in black and white. But still, and then I took it to the Office Depot and had them spiral bound it for me for, I don't know, $4 or $5. I can't remember. It wasn't much. It didn't break the bank. Let's put it that way. And I was glad I did it, because I like having a copy that I can flip through and physically touch, because I only had the PDFs. I bought the PDFs off of Drive-Thru several months, maybe almost a year ago, and I never read them. I never looked at them. I kind of, put it on the side there, and then about a month or two ago, I was getting the itch to run something on Start Playing Games. And I said, "Oh, I'm going to run a Supers game." So I started going through all my PDFs and looking for the game, because I wanted something that was easy to run, not too complicated, that would run well online without using a VTT. I'm finding that, as much as I love Foundry and I love the concept of a VTT, I don't like using them. There's none that are intuitive and easy. Probably the two best, in my opinion, are Foundry, of course, and then Bag of Mapping. If you want to run a fantasy style game, if you want to run Pathfinder, Foundry's got it dialed in. I would say that's the way to go. If you want to run D&D or anything generic, bag of mapping is your cup of tea. It's really well done. It's ease, low barrier to get into, and it's actually free. You don't have to pay anything if you don't want to. You just need an internet connection. But this is not an ad for either one of those. This is my thoughts on, after my initial glossing over of S5E by Gwendolyn and Amy Marshall. I assume they're a couple or a group or sisters. I was super excited. The art in here is fantastic. It's 4-color Silver Age art. It's very good. The artists that they got to do the book are fantastic. It looks really nice. I'm very, very impressed with the art. It definitely gives you that superhero, Batman, Justice League, X-Men. It's that quality of art, and it's really well done. The layout was actually pretty nice as well. I liked it, printed just fine. I liked that they had these tabs on the side, which if you have the full color version, it's a little easier to see, and you can use it and easily find what you're looking for by those tabs and the numbers. So that's a chapter number. So if you're in chapter 3, you're in the powers section or whatever it may be. But anyway, so that being said, I decided to give it a better look. And I started reading it, and I was reading the physical book. This is the latest edition from DriveThru. I downloaded it and double checked that there wasn't a newer update from DriveThru. And I started seeing a lot of inconsistencies in grammar and just the layout of the book. The art didn't really necessarily match what I was reading. And I'm not saying your art has to match but have some iconic characters. If you're going to pay for this quality of art, pay to have a couple iconic characters made and use them throughout the book. They didn't do that. Some of the art, and I would say 99% of the art is fantastic. But we have these iconic full-page pinups of characters, and we don't know anything about them. We don't know who they are. We don't know what they are. Some of them are in there, some are not. And it's just quite annoying. The whole thing with the superhero genre is you want to know who Batman is. You can pick Batman out a mile away. You can pick Superman out a mile away. You can pick out Wolverine a mile away. You know them. And so if you're going to have some iconic characters, let's use the art, get it done a couple of different ways, and reference it. Give me a stat profile of that character. This uses standard 5th edition mechanics. Every power is basically a spell. They've turned it into magic. And you get X amount of at-will powers and free powers that you can use per level. So typically at first level, you have 2 powers that you can call on at any time, 2 at-will powers. And then you'll get maybe 1 or 2 like free powers that you can use. I want to make sure I get the terminology right here. And I'm going to say the concept behind this, I think, is pretty solid. They were on to something here. They just did not follow it through very well. Let me see here. Yeah, so at first level, most players will get, you'll choose from a power list, and as you level up, you'll get more powers. Let me see here. I just want to get the, and I could have written this because, like I said, I printed it. So when you choose, if you choose a kinetic, your kinetic is strength, speed, toughness, teleporting, or agility. You choose one of those, and then each little section has a spot in here, and it tells you what the powers are, and then it lists what powers you can choose from for that. So there's a kinetic list of powers, and they rank from 1 to 20 or 1 to whatever. Pretty much everybody, and there's no consistency here either. Everybody pretty much is a hit die of 1d10, and you get 20 plus your Constitution modifier. And and every level you get 1d10 or 6 plus your con. So you can take the average, which I have no problem with that. I think that's solid. But the problem is, here's a mastermind. The kinetic can be a beef or a tank, and you get the mastermind, and they get 1d6 hit points. hit points at first level is 16 plus your constitution. So not too bad there. The mastermind, not as physically tough as the kineticist. So yeah, they should have more. But then we go to the mentalist. The mentalist, who is your mental powers, illusion, telekinesis, and telepathy. They start with a 1d8. They get a higher hit die than the what was the let me get back to you. Then the mastermind. Now the mastermind is typically like a super soldier. In fact, the picture they show like Bison or something like that. And he's got muscles. You can see he's pretty well developed. He gets a 1d6 with 16. The mastermind gets 18 plus constitution and a 1d8 with a 5. The mentalist, typically those are guys that focus on mental powers. They're not as physically tough or demanding. So I don't know if they got those two switched and they made a mistake. I don't know. Let's see, who do we have here? Let me make sure this one. See if this is the other one. The metamorph. The metamorph gets a D10, 20 plus their constitution, and is a D10. So they're the same as the kineticist. I just don't see why they should be the same. The metamorph has reflexive powers, transformation. Think Martian Manhunter or Plastic Man, something to that effect. So should they be as strong or as tough as the kineticist, who could be like Strong Jaw or Colossus, something like that. So elasticity powers, symbiosis, transformation powers, polymorphing. I just don't think that they should be as tough. And then we got the Mystic. The Mystic is even higher. He has a 1d8 with 18 plus your con. So there's just no consistency or perceived consistency. It's kind of all over the place. It doesn't make a lot of sense. We have this great piece of art right here, and I only see, I think, this guy in one of the photos. So like I would have, for consistency's sake and for familiarity to help you learn the game, it would have been nice to see these characters as one of the chosen power sets and then example them out. As it is, we've got 288 pages of, it's a giant spell book basically. And then there, like I said, the art is really good, but there's no encounter builder in here. It doesn't tell you how to build an encounter. There's no GM book for this game. There's Midnight City and there's augmented what is it? It's Augmented Operatives, which is a book of NPCs. Also, for the few stats they give in here, they don't tell you how to build an encounter, A, and B, they don't give you challenge levels for everything in here. So if you want to use a bunch of poisonous snakes, you have no idea what the challenge. Oh, so that one has the challenge. Some of these do. Okay, so I stand corrected. Some of the monsters do. Is there any NPC? Oh, you know what? It wasn't in, but there's no NPCs in this book. There's only how to make a sidekick and animal companions. So if you want a bat or poisonous snakes or whatever, an elephant, crocodile. So there is somewhat of B stat blocks. So because you could be a polymorph and you could change into a tiger, so you need those stats. It does have a full index. It seems to be okay. It has a full table of contents. Just really disappointed in the grammar and the spelling errors, and disappointed in the lack of thoroughness. Know how to create a challenge. If you want to learn how to build an encounter, you need to buy the Augmented Operatives. But guess what? That's not available on Pinnacle's website. So you can't buy that. If you got to buy that off of DriveThruRPG as a PDF, and you have to hope that it's going to be up there. There was also no character sheet included in the base book. That was a huge Kickstarter red flag. Now they may have added it in here at the end. I'm looking. No, they didn't. There's no character sheet. So there's no character sheet in the core PDF. Now you can download it off of Pinnacle's website for free, a PDF, and it's not bad looking. It's actually pretty well done. If you want the form fillable one, though, you got to pay $5. Now, I don't necessarily blame Pinnacle. I think they're trying to recoup some of their loss. There's 8 things on the website that you can download. 2 of them are free. Everything else costs money. One of the things, which I don't even count, is a soundtrack. Is the soundtrack of MP3s for $10. That's a little high for me. You're not physically buying anything. I think they should have let it go for $10 or $5 or $6. $5.99 I'd have been okay with. I'm not buying it for $10 because it's music that I'm probably not even going to enjoy. And you can't sample any of it. You can't listen to it and find out if it's something you're going to like or not. Let me double check though. I'm waiting for the page to load. Yeah, you can't. There's no, let me see if I go back, I go to details. I think it's going to do the same thing. Yeah, it just takes me to the same page. 8 songs for $10, $9.99. And then you're going to have to pay tax on top of that, depending on where you live. That could be steep. But so the only physical books out right now are the core book and Midnight City. Now, I am going to say Alan Barr wrote this, and this is pretty solid. If you're looking for a book to set your supers campaign in, this is pretty decent. It even comes with a pretty cool map. But again, the editing process in here is pretty horrible. None of the NPCs in here, and there's some villains and some heroes for Midnight City. And the premise of this game, by the way, if you don't know, is something happens. There's like a spell that was cast, and it turns this city perpetually midnight. It's always dark. And you can't get out of the city. They've locked it down and they've blocked teleportation. There are a couple of ways to get in and out, but they are strongly guarded secrets that the players will have to play to find out in order to try and figure that out. But there is ways. But none of the NPCs are GM characters in here have a challenge rating. So you don't know if I'm going to throw Illumination Man at you. I don't know what rank he is. I don't know what his challenge level should be. I don't even know what class he is. Well, it says he's a construct. Well, that's an illumination. Let me see here. Let me try and find Heroes of Midnight City. And again, the art in here is laid out really well. It looks like some of the same artists and stuff. Catalyst Prime is a medium humanoid, armor class 20, hit points 104. Initiative is a +2. It gives their stats, saving throws, action surge, actions and reactions, no challenge level. How do I know? How do I figure out what this character is for and who can I use it against? Now, they do give you a nice little write-up and a little blurb, so it's not bad. I mean, you can probably figure it out if you want to do the math. I'm not a huge fan of 5th edition. I'm not going to want to sit here and figure out what the challenge level is. Now, if you go ahead and you buy the Augmented Operatives book, let me see if I can share my screen. And again, this is another slight disappointment. I'm going to share that. So here's the Augmented Operative Registry. This is just a book of monsters, basically. It's a bestiary. And it's, again, by Gwendolyn Marshall. And only available in PDF that I can tell. The art starts out pretty good. Like, there's a solid piece, you know. We get our introduction, armor class, senses. There's another decent 4-color, you know, superhero, Silver Age superhero art. Very cool. Who is this person? I have no idea. It's just art. I mean, it's cool. There's no doubt about it. And then here's our challenge rating table. This is the only thing in a 130-page PDF that you have to buy separately that tells you how to build an encounter or a challenge ratings. Other than that, you're kind of lost. So a little confused by that. And again, I know this fell through the cracks. Something happened. They weren't able to fulfill on the Kickstarter, or they bowed out, or whatever. I don't know how Alan Barr factors in. Alan does good stuff. I have a couple of his other games, and they're all pretty good. I'm hoping he got paid to do this. I'm sure he did. He didn't do it for free, but I hope they got everything out of him. But this book, Managing NPCs, I mean, they gives, it's just like everything's half-assed done, I guess is the best way to put it. There's no clear, concise formula. There's no processes. There's no step 1, do this, step 2, do this, step 3, do this. It just kind of, it's like, it's just assumed that you should know how to build the character. They don't really tell you that all the superpowers are literally just spells that they've converted, which is great. I don't have a problem with that. But tell me, make it forthright and give me some structure. They do go through building a character, but it's as clear as mud to me. I read it and I was just like, I don't want to struggle with this, and I don't want my players. Everybody's going to need a copy of this book or a copy of the PDF to make a character. You can't just whip up a character because you have to know. You're going to spend hours figuring out what your powers are going to be, because you have to read each power. Granted, you only start with 2 and a couple other powers. But again, in the Augmented Operatives book, the art after the starting on page 13 changes. I mean, we got this cool piece of art that is solid, kind of a Batman style character or a mercenary super soldier, 2 guns, body armor, cool helmet. That's a solid piece of art. Who is he? I have no clue. I have no clue who this guy is. There is Jimbo. I know Jimbo did the art because it says so right there on the shell casing. But other than that, I don't know anything about it. And he's not referenced in here as far as I can tell. And then our art changes to this cartoon, like they used tokenizer or token, what's it called? Where is it? Token Stamp 2. This literally looks like Token Stamp 2. They took art and they put it into Token Stamp, and they made a stamp out of it, and then they added it to the book. So, and again, it's cartoony. It's not my style. And you're going for this dark, gritty style in the other books, in the Midnight City book and the core book, and then you go to this cartoon style in this book. It just throws. It's like I'm looking at a completely separate book. I will say they do give the challenge ratings down here. I can't highlight it right here. Can I do it that way? No, I have to. Oh, there we go. So they do give the challenge rating right here. And it looks like it's on all the characters. So that part is good. I haven't seen any that don't have it. But again, it's this crappy cartoon style art that I don't want in a, I don't, if I was playing, if I want this style of art, this tone, I'd play Icons or Mask. Those games have this style of art and it suits the game and it's fine, because that's what, but you start me off with this art, and then when I go to my bestiary or my book of NPCs and bad guys and villains, and you give me cartoon action hour, I'm not happy. That's an art choice. That's on me. I get it. Not everybody may feel that way, but I would want like a clear and concise theme throughout the books. Uh, it's just, I mean, and again, we can't even keep the theme here. Here we've got awesome. This is supposed to be a 2-page layout, and we've got 2 dinosaurs attacking a guy in what looks like powered armor. But again, I don't know anything about it. I don't know who that character is. Are they on Earth? Is this like a different world? The art direction leaves a lot to be desired. There's no familiarity with these pieces of art. It's just superhero art. And let's see. Yeah, so they still have challenge levels. So I'm just trying to look for anything that, And this is just a giant book of stats. In my opinion, this should have been free, um, especially if you're not going to keep the same quality of art. This could have been put out as a PDF, a freebie. I believe this is one of the, I think these were the 3 core books. The S5E, the Midnight City gives you your location and where you can play the game, a default setting, and then the Augmented Operatives was your NPC. But yeah, they all look like they have. Oh, wait a minute, maybe not. Yeah, no, he's got it. So they've all got their challenge levels. So, and again, another solid Jimbo. Why couldn't they get Jimbo to do all the art? Uh, and art is a big art is a big commitment, guys. It's expensive. I get it. Another cool piece of art, Jimbo again. You know, probably Jimbo again there. I can't see his signature unless it's hidden, but that's a phenomenal piece of art. So uh I just feel if I'd have known it was like this before I bought it as a PDF, I wouldn't have bought it. And it's my fault. I'll take the hit on the physical copies because I actually printed this off before I actually read it. And then I saw that Pinnacle was selling it. So I went and bought it, a hard copy from Pinnacle. It hasn't gotten here yet. This one got here. And this isn't too bad. Now, this I can steal from, I can use it. And to be honest, I can still use this because I can get ideas for characters and stuff. And I love the cover. I'm not going to lie. The cover is pretty cool. It's a embossed, matte cover. So it sticks out. This is a nice book. I'm not too upset about this. And a good, like I said, good source material. Midnight City could be Gotham. It could be Metropolis. It could be, anything you wanted. You could put it anywhere in your world. And I may use it for my Heroes Unlimited game. The problem is with Heroes, not the problem. The problem for this game is that Heroes Unlimited has 20 plus years of support. And while it is the Palladium system, and some people will love it or hate it, they have a lot of support. Gramercy Island, what is it? Trying to think. The Heroes Unlimited GM Guide is a phenomenal book. It's really well done. The Heroes Unlimited second edition, revised second edition is solid. This is a great book. Villains Unlimited is really good. Gives some really good updated, I would say mechanics, rules. It gives some updated rules on some of the sources of mechanics and stuff. So really well done. I'll take Heroes Unlimited over S5E any day of the week and twice on Sunday. So again, more fantastic art, probably done by Jimbo. And we're looking at, and then there's our legal info. So the open game license. So here's like the werewolf, and then there was 20, 30 pages back was that awesome piece of art with the werewolf. Why didn't they take that piece of art and make that the token for this? I don't understand. Maybe it's a legality with the art, and Jimbo didn't give them rights to reuse the art. He only said, you can use it here, and that's it. That could be the issue. I mean, some artists do that, and they're totally allowed to do that. So while I'm harping on this and it's very negative, it is a negative review. I am not happy with my purchase. I feel like I don't want to say I got ripped off, but I feel like this was not as advertised as the saying goes. I don't feel like I got my money's worth. I feel like I overspent because I spent a lot of money on this. I bought the PDFs, and then from the PDFs, I bought the physical books. And again, I will say, buyer beware. Use this as your warning. Unless you're a diehard 5e fan and you really dig 5th edition and you're willing to put the work in that this game is going to be required. And don't get me wrong, I think this could be a fun supers game if the GM's willing to put a shit ton of work into it. I'm not. I don't like 5th edition enough to put that much effort into it myself. So for me, after seeing the errors in the book and the issues with the S5E book, I'm not pleased. I will say Midnight City is pretty solid. There's a bunch of NPCs in here, but again, there's no challenge rating. So if I were to run this book is kind of useless, except as a city source book for me, because it would take, I have to figure out all these challenge ratings for these characters, and I don't even know, are they kineticists? Are they, polymorph? Are they, a mystic? Some of it's pretty simple to figure out, but again, it's more work than I should have to do. What would it have taken to just put a byline there that says kineticist or, mutant or shapeshifters? They could have done, and then the challenge level. So I can't use any of these guys without doing some serious backwards math to figure out what the challenge level is. And that's not worth my time or effort. And then on top of that, I can't even get the bestiary unless I physically print it out. And to be honest, the art for me is horrible. I can't stand looking at it. So I'm not going to print it. I'm not going to waste the paper and the toner for that to print it. So I think it's just a really, really missed opportunity here. I've heard some rumblings. If you go check their drive-through RPG page, you can see some people give a shout out to a free 5th edition supplement that is free. I don't remember the name of it. I'm not going to post links for something I don't know anything about, but they say it's really good and it's free. So if you know of another 5th edition Supers game that does it better than Sigil did, and I don't know what happened with Sigil. I don't know if they went out of business or if they dropped the ball. Their drive-through RPG page is still open, which segue, use my affiliate link. It'll be down in the doobly-doo, and you can help support the channel. If you do buy this, if you're a big fan of 5th edition, it's not a bad read. I liked Midnight City, and like I said, I was kind of into the core book until I realized it's just missing some stuff for me as a GM. But like I said, I've got the physical copy coming. This may be one that I give as a giveaway on my channel. I don't know. I might do it because I'm really not thrilled with it, and I don't see a need to reference it. I have almost every book for Heroes Unlimited that I need as a GM. I don't see a need to have something like this that's incomplete, and I'm not going to use those mechanics. So I might do this as a giveaway on the channel, maybe one night when I do a live stream, which is probably coming up pretty soon. I have my Wednesday night Daggerheart game this week. So maybe next week I might do a live stream, or maybe a Saturday night I have my final session of Daggerheart. We're going to switch to Heroes Unlimited, but we're going to finish up the Daggerheart campaign. So that's it, guys. I'm sorry this is kind of a negative rant. I don't like doing negative videos, but I just don't see any redeeming qualities here. I mean, maybe, like I said, maybe if you're a big fan of 5th edition and you know the system inside and out, maybe this will be your jam. If you ran it or are running it, let me know in the notes. Tell me what your thoughts are. Tell me if you like it or you dislike it. I did a YouTube search for some live plays, and the only thing I could really find was the live play from the guys at Sigil. And it was during the Kickstarter, and nothing really after that. I didn't really see anybody jumping out to play it. The first mistake is launching a book without a character sheet inside of it and not having one readily available. There's numerous posts on drive-through about where's the character sheet, how can I get the character sheet. You can get the character sheet off of drive-through RPG, I believe, and I know for sure you can get it off of Pinnacle's site. Like I said, there's a couple of supplements on Pinnacle's site. You can get the free PDF character sheet, but it is not form fillable. You'll have to pay an extra $4.99 plus applicable tax for a PDF copy that you can write in. It is slightly different than the regular PDF copy. I think it looks nice. I'm not paying for it because I'm not going to run this. So if I was going to run it, I would buy it. I would fork out the $5 and I would suck it up and I would get it. But I'm not. I've since tossed that idea right out the web or right out the window. They have the dual optional subclass as a PDF. It is free. It's basically, I think it's like multiplicator man. You can make duplicates of yourself or something like that. They have an adventure called The Taker. And again, the art is phenomenal. It's written by John Wick. Depending on your thoughts on John Wick, you may or may not like that. His name's kind of mud in the industry right now, but It's a 14-page adventure for $3. That's not a bad deal. Yeah, by legendary author and designer John Wick. So yeah, 14 pages, 2.99. It's not bad. I mean, if you're into it, uh, you can get the PDF or the physical book of the core book, S5E, Midnight City, physical or PDF. The Covenant of Six is a short story for $5. That's a PDF, and you can get the soundtrack. So really, these last three are the soundtrack, and the Covenant of Six is a short story. I'm assuming it chronicles the characters on the cover. I don't know for sure because I didn't look at it. Um, I'm just seeing. So Kevin Andrew Murphy, he wrote George R. Martin's Wild Cards. It's in PDF format. It's 100 and what did it say? I just saw it. Doesn't say. Over 150 pages, so probably 151 pages. It's a 12-part story. Author Kevin Andrew Murphy. So if that's your jam, I'm hoping it includes the characters on the cover. Um, but yeah, it's just fiction for $5. So maybe you can get it on Kindle or something like that. Read it on your Kindle. It might be good. But guys, I'm sorry. I'm just extremely disappointed in this. I really had high hopes for this. I thought it was going to be really good. I was excited. And then I started reading it, and then I started seeing inconsistencies in the art. Uh, and I just wasn't impressed. And that's never good when you're never impressed. I'm trying to get to the end here. I think it's going to save it as a dot. I want to save it as a JPG. So I hope that answers any questions. Like I said, I'm thoroughly disappointed. I was really hoping for something better, and it's my fault for buying the physical books when I didn't read the PDFs. Because if I'd have read those first, I would have never physically ordered these books. I'm glad I didn't. I almost went and bought the adventure, and I was going to buy the soundtrack, and then luckily I didn't. I just bought the two core books, and I already had the augmented operatives book in PDF because, like I said, I bought it from Drive Through as PDFs, and then I bought the physicals from Pinnacle because Drive Through is not offering the physical books. So that leads me to believe that these are just leftovers from the Kickstarter. Um, and then once the stock is gone, Pinnacle will probably not keep it because it's not even on their main website. You have to search for it to see it. I don't believe it's if you go to our games, let me see what it says. I'm waffling here. Feel free to walk away from the video now. But um, yeah, it's not even listed on their main site. You have to know what you're looking for. So that tells me it's a dead game. They're not supporting this. And besides, if I'm going to play I'm going to play Necessary Evil. But to me, Savage Worlds mechanics do break down. Everybody's going to play a mage, take bolt, and they're going to win every time because you only need a target number of 4 to hit. So it's just until they fix that or make it different, it's just not going to work. But it is Savage Worlds, and it's a fun system. I wish they'd come back out with Evernight. Evernight was a solid fantasy setting with a little futuristic stuff in it. But anyway, guys, that's about all I got to Bamla. I've been going on for 40 minutes. I haven't said much. I hope this sheds some light. And if you decide to pick this up, let me know what you think. If you already have it, let me know what you think. And if you're running it, let me know what you think. Until then, as always, peace and hair grease. And remember, as always, Mr. Mean says be nice.